Okay, let's go to how about Ernst Grafenberg? Ernst Grafenberg was a scientist. He was a researcher. His main area of expertise is female reproduction, female reproductive organs. He's a really fucking big deal in this area. He invented what is now the modern IUD, did a ton of research about like ovarian cancer, tons of breakthroughs in that area. But the thing that gets him the nod here is he is the one who discovered the G spot. Maybe I should back up a little bit. Let's talk about his life because this is an interesting guy. He's originally born in Prussia and continuing to live in the Germany, Austria area for the rest of his life through World War One. The disillusionment of Prussia, and World War Two, which is notable because he is Jewish. Somewhere like in his 50s, he's forced, by the Nazi regime to resign his position, at university as a researcher. But this guy was so good that the Nazis said, no concentration camp, no being forced to leave the country or anything. You can stay right here because all of our wives still need to see you for birth control. I mean, so we actually still really need your IUDs. So you're cool for now. Uh, and eventually he's put in prison. Oh my God, I need to actually read about this. This is an insane story. During the Nazi regime, he arrested, not for being a Jew, not for, you know, typical Nazi bullshit. He was arrested for smuggling a rare stamp. He was a stamp collector, and for whatever reason, this one was too valuable, too rare, whatever it might be. Maybe it was just because he was Jewish, and so, getting anything imported into the country is just not allowed for him. But he spends a few years in prison in his later years. And when he comes back, he kind of changes his main area of study. He sort of switches paths into female orgasms. And he starts doing all this kind of research about the clitoris, about inside of the vagina, yada yada. And he discovers this thing which he calls an erotic zone on the anterior wall along the urethra. And decades later, this would come to be named after him. What you know as the G spot in the early 1950s, Grafenberg, fiddling his fingers around, discovered, ooh, women seem to like this spot a lot. But what's really interesting is that at the time, this theory of a special spot inside of the vagina that is more sensitive, that has more synaptic response or whatever it might be, is just universally dismissed. Everybody is like, this is total bullshit. This is tripe. This is twaddle. It's so funny to me because I imagine just all of these old, lonely scientists in lab coats reading his report and just being like, what? Women don't have orgasms? And just fucking throwing it out. I mean, like, this is ridiculous. And it took like 30 years for anybody to come along and like continue his research because Grafenberg dies, pretty soon after this. He's pretty old at that point. And it was women in the end who like confirmed his theories. Um, this woman with the last name Whipple is the one who like eventually confirms it, and I think it's honestly a real fucking shame that she didn't discover it first because calling it the Whipple would have just been a much better name than the G Spot, but the G Spot's pretty cool anyways. Uh, in the end, Grafenberg really gets the nod here because I think he presents, an interesting role play opportunity in the bedroom. Could pretend to be Grafenberg. You get down there like you do. You stick some fingers in there and you just really fiddle around. Really make sure you like avoid doing anything that's like even remotely pleasurable. She'll be like, "What the fuck are you doing down there?" You'll be like, "I'm searching for the Grafenberg spot." You could do like a little fun thing where she's like, Nazi SS officer forcing the Jewish scientist to like, pleasure her. I don't know. Could be fun. All right, moving along.